So let's kick it up a notch. We've got good old fashioned Christine still managing to make the headlines and get this woman has been on like a tour de Christine. I feel like she's done it on purpose with season 6 coming out. I've seen so many headlines, so many posts with Christine. Um, let's start. She claims that she's not going to watch the season. Now she gave a quote to E that I thought was really interesting. She said, quote, "I have my girls that I absolutely love and I'm so supportive of them. But for me, I don't think I'll watch the show just because I want to know them for who they are and not what they're edited to be." Which I think is a really, really interesting thing to talk about. Now, this is an interesting spin. What do you think when she says a quote quite like that with E News? Do you think what's
I
your initial reaction with that?
I think it's shade to the show,
Yeah.
right? And kind of saying, maybe the edit that she has isn't who she really is, which I think she has like said that in the past as well. I mean, she plays a role on that show and it was the villain. And I
Right.
think she leaned in. Is she as much like that in everyday life? No, I don't think so. But I mean, I feel like there's probably a little ounce of villain in her on her everyday life, but maybe just a little fun part. But yeah, it's kind of interesting with that. And like, who would want to watch a show? I mean, she was kind of booted out, right? Like, it wouldn't be necessarily fun to watch with like, hey, I'm the one who made this show famous, kinda. I mean, she was really the MVP of a few seasons, and so it has to be weird for her, right?
I feel like it is weird. The other thing is, like you said, I mean, I get how you do reality TV. I get it very well. And like you do have to have somebody who plays a certain part. And when you sign up, somebody, whether or not production came to her ahead of time and said, "Hey, you're going to be the bad guy," or whether or not everybody was being too civil and she kind of just bit the bullet, um, she knew what she needed to do. She's been very candid about this. She's went back and forth with multiple different stances. She chooses the stance of wanting to blame editing, but then she'll come right back around and then she'll mention about how she definitely 100% knew that she was playing a character, how to play a character. That's the way that she's going to pay her bills, and get her screen time. And that's fine, but it's just like at the end of the day, yes, editing is a huge factor. I get that. But you are also providing them with the content to edit. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm just like I get that you're blaming the editing on the show, but also what here's my question to that. Would you be blaming the editing if you were still on the show?
Oh, I mean,
That's
probably
kind of where
not because
I
she
go
doesn't.
with
I
it.
mean, she's already booted,
Right.
so what else does she have to lose,
Exactly.
right? But you
Yeah.
can't edit things into people's mouth. Like, even if it is like
Correct.
cross dubbing, and you've said it before, even if it wasn't at that time, I get how it works as well. But
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think that we've seen the last of Christina on reality
I don't
television.
think
I
so
don't think it's with
either.
Selling
I don't.
Sunset, but she's either gonna get her own show or she's gonna be like all of these reality shows that are now coming up, the competition ones, like the Go Stars on Mars, all of these
Yeah.
stars coming together in
Awesome.
like a crossover reality TV competition thing. I could see her killing it.
Oh yeah, 100%. She's too good at it, to be honest with you. She's too good to not continue to do it. It's just a
I
matter of where's
100%
the next
agree.
medium. She's in alignment with the structure that they want. There was also a podcast episode. I don't know. Have you watched Savannah Chrisley's podcast episode with her called Unlocked? It's a
I've seen
good
clips.
episode.
I haven't like
Yeah.
sat down to watch the whole thing.
I think I watched all of it, or I watched like almost all of it about a week ago. And I thought it was very
Okay.
interesting to be able to hear her open up about everything on there. She really did go in on the editing. And then she also opened up and started divulging a lot of other information, particularly about Chriselle. She alleged that Chriselle sold, I think she said 2 houses in the episode. It was
That's
two
the
or three.
clip
It
I
was very,
saw.
very small. Yeah, it's crazy. And then she was like, it's because she was banging the boss. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh my goodness. I was like,
And I think she jokes like if oh maybe if I liked the boss and I would get certain
yeah,
listings too, and like oh my
yeah.
god, Christine, the feud lives on and I love it. Lean in, why not? I mean, I'm sure it got her some headlines, and it is kind of questionable because I think Christine's a lot of things. Is she a liar?
Mhm.
I'm not so sure. So I do think maybe there is some exaggeration with Chriselle in the real estate element of the show. I
Mhm.
going into season 1, yes, it was a real estate show, but I mean, she was kind of the main person. She was married to a very popular actor at the time, and they needed someone like that, and I think they probably, maybe twisted things a little bit, but I don't care. I enjoy it and I love it, and do what you need to do,
Yeah.
production. I'll be here watching.
Yeah, the interesting part is, like, I wasn't so bothered by the idea that, like, the real estate part might not be true. I kind of figured as much. I was like, if that were the case, then I feel like there'd be a lot more B-roll of people driving up into the Sunset Hills or the hills right off of
Mhm.
Sunset and everything like that. Like I could go drive up there right now if I wanted to. And I feel like we'd see a lot more videos surfacing of like camera crews and the girls walking up the hills in their stilettos and stuff like that. I'm sure that it is exaggerated to a certain extent and they have certain buildings and days and stuff like that. So I wasn't too shocked to find that out, but I just love that Christine just said, "Let me just give you a whole spiel of information." I think it's funny. She's
I'll have
wild.
to go back and watch the full episode because that clip did get me. I think I like favorited it so I can remember. But
Oh
like
yeah.
the Chriselle and Christine legacy like lives on. Like think even though
Yeah.
she's on the show, I'm glad we get a little taste of that. It gives me kind of nostalgia vibes.
Totally. Well, so something that I did find out too, and we're going to stay on the topic of Christine here. We're going to talk about her with Heather here in a second. But one of the things that she did say is she's like, "Oh, I actually don't think that I'm on that bad of terms with Chriselle after all." She mentioned that she tweeted something about wanting to make up or like or not necessarily make up,
Chriselle
but
tweeted
something
it.
along the lines of being civil. Christine did, and then she's deeming that her and Chriselle are on
Oh,
okay terms because Chriselle favorited or hearted the tweet. I don't have Twitter. She hearted the tweet, and I thought that was
okay.
so funny. So
Ceasefire.
that's how she's going around. It's like, imagine if you and I got into a feud, and I'm like, we're cool. She liked something on Instagram. It's like that's not.
That's funny.
It
That
was
is
like, oh
funny.
my goodness. So Chriselle and Christine are hilarious. Now